Welcome to Action Coaching. We're certainly delighted that you join us on today because I believe that God has something special for you. Remember, the desire of Action Coaching is to coach the God-given potential that's in you, out of you, so that you can live your best life now. And I'm excited about Action Coaching because I understand that everybody needs a coach. Nobody makes it in life by themselves. I like how the scripture lets us know sometimes that we are helpers one to another. So everybody is equipped with gifts to help somebody else, and that person helps somebody else, and we all get to achieve those things that we desire. So I am excited about Action Coaching and the fact that we are able to come and coach you every single week. Now this week I want to talk to you about going through to get to. What are you talking about? I realize that, and of course I'm going to talk these 3 points in Action Coaching. You're either going into a storm, or you're going through a storm, or you're coming out of a storm. One of them you are in the midst of. Let's say that again. You're either going into a storm, you're going through a storm, or you're coming out of a storm. So every one of those things I just mentioned, somebody is at some place in one or the other. You're going into a storm, or either you're going through a storm right now, or you're coming out of a storm. So let's talk about how and why so many people are not successful. The first reason they're not successful and they don't achieve their dreams and visions is because of fear. They are afraid to go. Now let me say this. They're not afraid to criticize others who have went, but they themselves are afraid to go. How many times have people criticized you when you went, and they are afraid to go themselves? You hear all of the talking. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't have went through that. I wouldn't have put up with that embarrassment myself. But the bottom line, the person that went is the person that's going to achieve the most from going. So there are things that we will go through a storm. We're going to be in a storm, or either we're going to be coming out of a storm. Now let me clear up this particular part before I get into talking about the 3 points. Life is not mistake-free. I found out that perfection, or either what they call perfection, is based on what the people around you, or the world, so to speak, decides that's perfection. And most of the time when they are deciding what's perfection, they use it to particularly protect their point of view. For instance, some things that were taboo when I was growing up, people are doing them freely now. Certain words we could say 20 years ago, 25 years ago. Now if you say those certain words, it's offensive. Well, if it's offensive now, was it offensive then? Or was it that people have decided that it's offensive? I know we're living in a day where everybody are sensitive to their feelings. But I found out this about feelings too. It's not about you being sensitive to your feelings, and I know every one of us have feelings, but the bottom line is you got to decide, do you feel good about yourself? If I feel good about myself, then hey, I am satisfied with my place in life. So you have to understand, and I found out this in pastoring a church. You can be talking to people every single Sunday, every single week, that are doing things that are not right in God. They're making mistakes. They're falling into traps and different things that are happening. But the bottom line is, since they are not on display, they feel like, hey, I can hide my stuff. But the minute, say, the pastor or preacher or anybody, a quote-unquote established figure, makes a mistake, then everybody say, I don't know how he can do that. I don't know how they can fall into that. I don't know, they should have knew better. The bottom line is, if you're going to be successful in life, you got to understand one single thing. You're not exempt from going into storms, and you're not exempt from going through storms. And also, thank God, you're not exempt from coming out of storms. Storms don't last always, but they do come. And they are going to consistently come. The higher you want to go in life, the more resistance you are going to have. You didn't think it was going to be easy to be quote unquote wonderful, or you must have thought it was going to be easy to be at the top of your game. A lot of people can't get at the top of their game because they'll do what's comfortable and they don't feel like anybody else is doing it better. But I'm here to let you know, when you think you are doing it the best, you're going to run into people that make your best look like you haven't even started. It's not a negative thing, that's a positive thing. It drives you to keep on climbing in life. So let's talk about going into a storm. Maybe I'll talk about it from this perspective. Of course, when those of us that are parents have kids, we spend the first part of their life trying to protect them from things, rather than spending the first part of life preparing them for things. I knew that when I had kids, my goal was to prepare them for things. I could not protect them from everything. I understood that what can we as parents do to prepare them to deal with the storms that they are going through. By nature of them at that particular time being my children, sometimes they were going to experience the backlash from people, not because they didn't like them personally, but since they didn't like me, they decided not to like the kids. But however, I can't protect the kids from that, but I can prepare them to deal with storms in life. As they grow, the fact that you are growing, there are things that you are just going to have to go through in order to grow. I like to use this example. The amazing thing is, if you ever went out and decided that you were going to buy a particular pet, and of course you bring the pet home and you're all excited, and in our case, I don't have any grandchildren right now, but I do have Pablo. He comes and visits and he has a great time. But even though he is a pet, there are things he has to go through to be trained. You just can't consider that there are not going to be any messes, that there are not going to be any times when they don't know what to do. But I said all of that to say, if we could train animals to do that, then how much more do human beings need to be prepared to deal with life? So the first thing I did was prepare them to deal with storms they are going to go through. When we talk to people, when I counsel people, when I instruct people, the first thing I tell them that this is not going to be easy, and there are going to be storms that you are going to have to go through. But storms are not bad. It reveals some things about you that you need to get together. This is not a life where mistakes are not going to be made, but they are going to be issues making it through this life. Now, I don't want you going anywhere. I'm going to be right back to talk to you. I left off talking about how that when I had kids, I understood that my job was not to protect them from everything. Yes, I know as children you protect them when they're young, but the bottom line is you got to train them for issues that they are going to go through in life. You have to train them, prepare them for storms that you're going to have to deal with in life, because they cannot run away from the storms no more than you and I can run away from the storms. When I started my dream, when I started my vision, yes, I was under illusion like most people are in life. When you look at stuff on TV, just because they advertising it, people think it's instant. You know, like people think they can save $50 and come back 2 weeks later and have $50 million. That ain't the way life works. It takes patience, it takes perseverance, it takes a whole lot of sacrifice to achieve that goal. And sometimes there are even going to be storms. There are going to be storms in your life. Failure is not a bad thing. If you succeeded at everything, you wouldn't know what it was to fail. Sometimes failure is good. It helps you learn some things about yourself that'll make you stronger, make you more consistent. If I thought that everybody that said they love me was going to love me for time and eternity, then it's not that they are fooling me, I'm fooling myself. Truly, if the scripture said Jesus did it without no sin, and they still hung him on the cross, I don't know what in the world you think you're going to get here in life. But sometimes failure and disappointment, it helps you to grow, it helps you to strive, it helps you to develop. So I talked about how to prepare the kids for the storms that they are going to go through, and we too must be prepared for the storms that we are going to go through. Now, number 2, I talked about there are times you're going to be in a storm. I've been in storms in my life. Jesus, it looked like it was raining every single day. That every single morning I got up, the storm did not move. Have you ever seen storms come and it's just rain, or it's just cold, or it's just windy, look like for days at a time, and it don't seem that it's going to ever end? But I'm here to let you know that storms will pass. No storm is going to happen forever. But what we need to do, just like we learn naturally so. If it's raining, put on a raincoat. If it's cold, put on a heavier coat. If it's too hot, then you need to take some of the coats off. But the bottom line is you are going to have to go through the storm. And those of us that have the ability to go through the storm and not run away from the storm, it makes us stronger. I remember I saw a movie one time and it had an amazing message just in its title. Now, a lot of people say, how can it have an amazing message in its title? Well, the title spoke to me. It was called Storm Chasers. It talked about people that run around chasing storms to figure out how storms happen. I found that this, any dream, any vision, any goal, you might as well call yourself a storm chaser. because at every level there are going to be some storms, but you have got to go through the storms. You cannot avoid them. You are going to have to pass the test. You are going to have to go through the storms, and that's exciting. So there are storms that you're going to go through. Now, number 3, I know my time is going, so I want to make sure that there are storms that you are coming out. It's amazing that when you're putting in the work and all of the things that are happening to you are making you stronger. They are developing you so that you can live your full potential. I found out that many struggles, many things that have happened to me have only made me stronger. You know how it is when you can have a group of friends and you love them, and all of a sudden one day they turn on you, they not speaking to you, and it seemed to be devastating at that particular time. You know, the first few times that it happened to me, it was devastating. How could my best friend turn on me like that? How could my best friend scandalize me like that? How could the friend I trusted with my secrets all of a sudden is writing a tell-all book about my experiences? But as much as that hurt, I was becoming stronger. Now, the bottom line is that I have learned it's not about what they say, it's about what you say. I learned how to forgive myself, to understand that, hey, I might have made mistakes, but I can't stay here and dwell on a mistake. I can't let it follow me for the rest of my life. There's so much more life I have to live. There's so many opportunities for me that are in front of me. Every day I'm looking at people that have used their mistakes to a personal advantage and have made a bigger and better platform for themselves. So I learned that there are storms that when you come out, you are so much better. It's amazing that nature itself will show you that every time there is a natural storm. You can go outside after it seemingly rained for 10 or 15 days, and you begin to feel how fresh the air smells, how the plants begin to grow after the rain or after the storm, how things seem to have changed when you come out of the storm. So when you come out of storms, storms are designed to make you better, stronger, to give you perseverance, to give you the patience to stick to your goal. Because if you never went through anything, if you never had to face anything, I can tell you now, you're not going to get very far. Now I know that we're living in a time where people want to snap their finger and make it easy. I want the easy stuff. And a matter of fact, even the commercials will fool you now and tell you that it's going to be easy. You know, you can have commercials that say things are going to be easy. Take 4 or 5 pills, and when you wake up in the morning, 30 pounds are going to be gone. And then you'll go buy all of the pills and take all of the pills, and you wake up the next morning and 30 pounds still there. What they don't tell you is the pills may help, but you're going to have to put a whole lot of work in to get the desired results. There are storms you are going to have to go through. If you want to change anything that's going into a storm, meaning that changing something is not going to be easy. If you think you're going to have the desired results, sometimes you're going to be in a storm, but it's necessary to test whether you really are convinced about what you believe you want to do. See, it's not about somebody else believing in your dream. It's about you believing in your dream yourself. So a lot of times you're going through the storm or you are in the storm. And so that is powerful. And then the third thing is when you come through the storm, you know what? They might not like the results, but you are certainly going to be able to enjoy the results. All of the people that told me I never would make it, I never would be anything, and consistently spoke against me while I was becoming me. Well, I got news for them. Once I came through the storm and out of the storm, I certainly liked the results. I certainly like to look at where I was and where God has brought me now. I am excited about it. Well, I got to stop. I was just getting started. Want you to make sure you reach out to me with questions concerning action coaching. We love to answer them for you. You may be going into a storm. You may be going through a storm. You may be coming out of a storm, but we want to talk to you about your storms. I'll be right back to talk to you.
Y'all haven't got the revelation. I got to take you another step. If faith is the title deed, then that means whatever the devil have, it does not belong to him. It belongs to me. But I got to use my faith to, I don't have no church people with me here. I got to use my faith to repossess it. The devil does not own it. It's mine, and my faith is the title deed to those things that belong to me. That's why when God talk about the world, he don't talk about it like it's the devil's world. He said the earth is the Lord.
Welcome back. I certainly enjoyed sharing with you on today about storms. Remember I said you're either going into a storm, you're going through a storm, and you are either coming out of a storm. Life have cycles like that, but they're all good to prepare us for our ultimate destiny, and it helps us to understand how we should live life. No storm lasts forever. Praise the Lord. And you will do the things that you desire to do. I certainly want to encourage you to sit down and sow a generous seed for the support of Action Coaching. We want to expand Action Coaching, make it bigger and better, and be able to reach more people. And of course, we need your help to do that. There's a link in my bio that will allow you to sow a generous seed for support of Action Coaching and watch us continue to coach others all around the world. And of course, you're being blessed because your gift is helping us come to you each and every week. So I'm certainly looking forward to you sitting down and sowing a generous seed faith offering for the support of Action Coaching. I know that the Lord will bless you and he will multiply every gift that you've sown into Action Coaching. Once again, that's a link in my bio that will give you a host of ways to give to Action Coaching, and the Lord certainly is going to bless you. Well, the Lord bless you. I certainly enjoyed talking to you, and as I do each and every week, share the word with a friend and keep the word in action.